On behalf of Indiranagar Study Group, our humble pranams to Swami Aparajitananda ji, our fellow seekers and others who have logged in, a very warm welcome. Swamiji has kindly agreed to conduct the satsang on meditation, the third one in this series, and with his permission, we will start the proceedings. Before we start, a small announcement. As always, we will mute ourselves, and only when our name is called out, we will unmute and then participate. Others may please continue to be muted, both in audio and video mode, to avoid interference. We commence this satsang with invocation. Over to Mr. Vishwas.
Sahanavavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahe Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahe. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Akhanda Mandalakaram Vyaptam Yena Characharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Asmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakayam Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Gurudeva Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Tvameva Mata cha Pita, Tvameva Bandhu cha Sakha, Tvameva Vidya Dravinam, Tvameva Sarvam Mamadeva Deva, Tvameva Sarvam Mamadeva Deva. Hari Om, Hari Om.
Thank you, Mr. Vishwas. The festive occasions have started with Krishna Janmashtami, Gauri Ganesha, which have been conducted with all fervor in our Chinmaya mission, besides various satsangs on Bhagavatam and Narayaniya. It is only natural that to reinforce our spiritual upliftment, we have today a satsang on meditation. Swamiji has kindly consented to guide us with an overview on meditation, possible causes as to why we don't smoothly progress, and probably with a guided meditation demonstration. May I now humbly request Swamiji to give his pravachanam and enlighten us. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Audio is clear?
Clear, sir.
Yes. Humble prostrations to one and all. When we meditate, one thing has to be clear as to why we are meditating. What is the purpose of meditation? This has to be clear. Because very many times people think meditation is for improving the personality, or meditation is for gaining various kinds of siddhis, supernatural powers, etc. So we have to be very clear why we are meditating. What is the purpose of meditation? The purpose of meditation is Only for one thing, to know ourselves as we are. This is the purpose. What is the way in which we must know ourselves? Today, in our ignorance, we know ourselves as the body. So the right understanding about ourselves is we are none other than pure consciousness, which is Sat Chit Ananda Swarupa. This is the way we have to know ourselves. Meditation is for this purpose. So now, when a beginner sits for meditation, the first obstacle he will experience is laya. Laya means sleep. For any beginner in meditation, this is the first obstacle. Now the question may come, why is it that we feel sleepy? What could be the reasons? There could be various reasons. If you are meditating in the morning, if you feel sleepy, it's possible that in the night you did not have good sleep. So in that case, the mechanism of the body is such that whatever sleep you have missed in the night, that quota of sleep it will take when you sit for meditation. Because meditation is a very conducive environment which is very similar to sleep. There is darkness everywhere, you have closed your eyes, there is silence, there is withdrawal. So therefore, if the body has not taken sufficient rest in the night, you will find yourself going into sleep at the seat of meditation. In this situation, nothing can be done. You have to just sleep and finish off that quota of rest. The next reason for sleep is, if the stomach is very heavy, again you will feel sleepy. So therefore it is advised that in the previous night itself, you prepare for this next day morning meditation. How can you prepare? Number one, eat little. Number two, eat light. Light means what? No oily stuff. Something which is very easily digestible. Eat little and eat light. And moreover, just before going to sleep, at least half an hour before, do japa, do little meditation and go to sleep. If this is done, then your sleep will be a sattvic sleep. Please understand, sleep also has got three gunas. A sattvic sleep is a deep sleep where you get totally refreshed after sleep. A rajasic sleep is a sleep where you have a lot of dreams. A tamasic sleep is a sleep where the more you sleep, the more you are tired. So sleep itself is of three types. So if you have to have sattvic sleep, there is only one way: prepare yourself. Quieten the mind before entering into the sleep. Meditate upon the Lord before entering into the sleep, so that samskara, the divine samskara, with that divine samskara, if you enter into the sleep, you will find that when you get up early in the morning also, that samskara continues. If chanting a particular mantra, you go to sleep, while getting up also, you will find that automatically the subconscious mind is chanting that mantra and you are getting up. In all these cases, you will find you have taken sufficient rest. So therefore, previous night itself, the preparation begins for the next day morning meditation. So we were talking about laya. This is the first obstacle. So one reason is you have not taken rest, so better take rest. The second reason is the stomach is heavy, that is also there. And the third reason is boredom. When the mind is bored, because the mind doesn't know what to do at the seat of meditation. At the most, you can make your body still, you can close your eyes, but that itself is not meditation. And suddenly some boredom comes, and so therefore the mind goes into sleep. So now, how to handle this laya, sleep? The best way to handle is to acquire sufficient qualification for meditation. What are the qualifications? When we have Bhakti, Jnana and Vairāgya, then this problem of sleep will never come. What is Jnana? Understanding what is permanent, what is impermanent. What is real, what is unreal. This is Jnana. What is Bhakti? Love for the real, love for the permanent is called Bhakti. What is Vairāgya? Dispassion for the impermanent is called Vairāgya. So love for the real and dispassion for the unreal, if these two you have in sufficient measure, you will find that you can easily win over this laya. So the best way of handling laya is to have sufficient devotion for God and sufficient dispassion for the world. Because when you have enough love for God, you are waiting for every meditation session. Because in meditation, what are you going to do? You are going to meet your beloved Lord. You are waiting for it. Those are the moments which will recharge you, which will strengthen you, which will console you. You feel refreshed in the company of the Lord. So when you have so much of love for the Lord, it is impossible that in the company of the Lord you feel sleepy. If you are feeling sleepy in the company of someone, understand there is no love for that person. Isn't it? If you love somebody, if you fall sleepy in such a person's company, what does it mean? That love is a very weak love. In fact, just imagine, suppose your near and dear one, whom you love very much, is supposed to come the next day. The whole night you will not get sleep because of excitement. And such is the case. So if we feel sleepy at the seat of meditation, it simply means that we have to strengthen our devotion to a great extent. This is the best way of handling sleep. But it will take time, because Bhakti, Jnana, Vairāgya is not something which we can get it in a few days. So therefore, we must also have secondary means of handling sleep. Secondary means some physical technique by which you can overcome sleep. So what are the techniques? There are so many techniques mentioned by Mahatmas. So one technique is controlling the breath. When you take deep breath, you will always find the sleep vanishes. So these are the rajasic techniques to overcome tamasic obstacles. Tamasic obstacle can always be overcome by going one step higher. And what is that one step higher? Going into rajas. So therefore, take a brisk walk of 5-10 minutes. That is a rajasic technique. You will find the sleep has gone. Or at the seat of meditation itself, you take a deep breath, hold the breath till you feel a little suffocation. Suffocate yourself for some time, then you will find that sleep and suffocation can never go together. You come out of sleep. Do it for 5-10 minutes, you will find that you are refreshed, you are recharged, because deep breathing is like oxygenating yourself, and whenever you oxygenate yourself, you become fresh. In 10 minutes, you can see the results. So this is another way of handling sleep. Either you walk, get up and walk, or through your control of breath. I'm not talking of watching breath, please. It is deep breathing. Watching breath means again you will go to sleep. Deep breathing to the limit of suffocation. This is the way. Right. So this is about laya. Then the next problem which we will face is what is called as vikshepa. This is the second problem. What is vikshepa? Vikshepa means wandering of the mind. So here you don't feel sleepy. You are very much aware, alert. But now the mind is wandering and you have no control over the mind. This is the second problem which meditators normally face. Now again, what is the solution? The best solution is only one, Bhakti, Jnana, Vairāgya. Where there is intense Vairāgya, the mind will not wander because mind is dispassionate enough. It has no interest in the world. So when the mind has no interest in the world, that mind will not wander into the world. Simple. And because mind has interest in the Lord, the mind will stay rooted in the Lord. So therefore, vikshepa also is a problem which can be best handled if we have Jnana, Bhakti, Vairāgya. This is the solution for all problems. But when we don't have that in sufficient measure, then what are the secondary ways in which we can handle Vairāgya? We can handle vikshepa. Little bit of sense discipline is absolutely a must. So what are the possible reasons why the mind wanders? One main reason is, if there is some problem which is disturbing us, then you will find that the mind will again and again go towards that problem and think about that problem. If there is some problem which is disturbing, it can be professional problem or family problem or some problem for which you have not found the solution, you will always find that this problem will erupt and the mind is not available for higher meditation. This could be one reason. The second reason is, if you have not lived a disciplined life throughout the day, then again the mind will keep on projecting useless thoughts. Especially in today's world, where we are so much exposed to all these kinds of media, too much of browsing the net, too much of reading newspapers, too much of watching TV channels, news channels, and too much of gossip, too much of entering into the social media, all these kinds of things. If the whole day is spent in useless pursuits, if whole day you are training your mind in agitation, now what are you doing when you are exposing yourself to all this media? You are unconsciously training the mind to be unsteady. Because what is news? Constantly things are changing. Things are changing means what? It is an unsteady thing. Now, where is your attention? Your attention is not on God, on the self. Your attention is not withdrawn. Your attention is taken out. This is what news does. You become extroverted. So when I am exposing my mind to all these kinds of things, I am training the mind in extrovertedness. I am training the mind in unsteadiness. So such a mind, how will it behave at the seat of meditation? The training which you have given to the mind, the same training the mind will exhibit at the seat of meditation. So the mind will bring all kinds of thoughts. Now, for example, suppose you have watched television, some news or some serial for half an hour, 1 hour, suppose. There may be some instance which has really touched you, which has really disturbed you, which has gone deep into your subconscious mind. All such instances will appear in front of your mind screen. This is what is called vikshepa. Mind will bring this and that, and it will never allow you to steadily focus upon the self, upon God. Now you may say, hey, why? I don't know why mind is not able to concentrate. Why mind is not what you call single pointed. Now see, don't blame somebody else. You only have given this training to your mind. Mind is like your child. Whatever training you give, it will behave that way. So therefore, it is not a half an hour meditation which is going to improve your life. Throughout the day, you will have to live a disciplined life. As Puja Gurudev used to say, for half an hour of meditation, you will have to prepare yourself for 23.5 hours. So a spiritual life is a life where throughout the day you are disciplining yourself. It is not just a 1 hour or 2 hour job. No. Every interaction with the world should be intelligent, should be moderate, and that's why Bhagavan says, Yukta ahara viharasya yukta cheshtasya karmasu. Your ahara and vihara should be yukta. Yukta means moderate. How much ever is needed, only that much. Definitely we must know what is happening in the world. News, it is important. But how long? How much? This we will have to limit. At the maximum, say 15 minutes or 30 minutes, that's all. And more than that, we should not expose our mind to all these kind of things. So this way, you will be able to minimize the external disturbance in the mind. So this we have to do. There is no other choice. We will have to discipline our senses. That's why in Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan's first aid instruction, just like we have first aid when a person is, has met with an accident, there is something called first aid. Immediately what has to be done? So Bhagavan says, Tasmat tvam indriyanyado niyamya bharatarshava. This is what he said. What is the first one? Indriyani ado niyamya. You discipline your senses first. This is the instruction given by Bhagavan as first aid. So this has to be done. So on one side we discipline our senses. On the other side, we will have to train the mind in concentration. Unless the mind is trained in concentration, unless the mind is trained in focusing, the mind will not be able to concentrate. So what is the way to train the mind in concentration? The way is, there are so many ways. I will just mention few of them. Whichever suits us, we can choose that. For example, this is a technique given in Bhagavatam. A beautiful form of the Lord in front. Just watch that beautiful form of the Lord, say for example 5 minutes, then close your eyes and then try to visualize the whole form in your mind. This is a technique which is a very ancient technique. You will find that in Puja Gurudev's Journey of the Master, in that book, Puja Gurudev also used to do this when he was a small child. Lord Shiva's picture he used to visualize. This is how he used to spend his time because he was bored with all these bhajans, etc. So this was a kind of meditation he used to do in order to pass time. Observe the picture, close your eyes and try to visualize it. Try to visualize it. And when again the picture has become blurred, again open your eyes, again watch it, close your eyes, again visualize. Now this is one technique. Kesha Adipadam, from head to toe. If you are not able to bring the entire picture, so Bhagavatam says, part by part, limb by limb, you meditate and then try to visualize. So this is one technique. Another technique is chanting the name of the Lord with an alert mind, with a conscious mind, listening to the chanting, not allowing your mechanical mind to chant, but making your conscious mind to chant. So you chant, you listen. If you have listened, then rotate your mala. Again you chant. Have you listened? If you have listened, then again rotate. So what is happening is, you are not allowing the mind to wander. Suppose what happens when the mind wanders, your rotation will stop. Rotation of the mala. And the moment this stops, it is a gross event. A gross event can be easily identified. So immediately you bring back your mind and again chant. So this is another technique mentioned in our scriptures. Chanting the name of the Lord and listening to it with a conscious mind. Another technique usually followed by these Buddhist people, they are observing the breath. Be aware of the breath. So here you are not altering your breath, you are not doing pranayama, you are doing only prana vikshana, observing the breath. This is the technique generally followed by these vipassana people. So all these techniques are available. Whichever technique is suitable to us, we can follow it. But you will always find that, there is something called after 20-30 minutes you will be tired. You will always observe this. Because stamina is not there. You get tired because there is effort involved in concentration. So then what you have to do, give little rest, do some other kind of sadhana. Don't say that I will do japa for 2 hours. It is not possible. You will get tired and exhausted and maybe you will go to sleep also. So don't give big, time slots, make small slots. So do japa for some time. After that, you can read some passages in scriptures for some time. Then maybe you can do pranayama for some time. Like that, different sadhanas you do, then the mind will not be bored. So this is about vikshepa. This is the second obstacle normally faced by us. Vikshepa, wandering mind. So let us train the mind in concentration. You can very clearly see the result within 1 hour. When you 1 hour you do, you can very clearly see the quality of change that has happened in the mind when you do this. In the night when you do this and go to sleep, early morning you will see the quality. Suppose you see a ghost movie and then sleep, then see the quality of the mind. There's a huge difference with respect to what we expose our mind to. So therefore, we have to be very careful regarding the exposure of the mind and regarding what training we give to our mind. So every day when you do, you will find that the quality of the mind starts improving day by day. It's a consistent effort, it's a constant effort. Don't think that like Ajamila at the time of death, I will remember God and liberated. Nothing to it. It's not going to happen. It's a lifelong discipline. It's a constant discipline. Then you will find that the quality of the mind improves day by day and you can clearly feel the difference. With such a pure, concentrated mind, such a mind becomes very sensitive, and with such a mind, meditation becomes very, very easy. That mind will not be distracted, the mind will not wander, it will be very focused. Right, so this is about vikshepa. So what is the first one? Laya. Second one, vikshepa. Now the third obstacle normally we face is called kashāya. Is another problem. Kashāya. What is this kashāya state? In this state, you are not going to sleep. Sleep is not there. The mind is also not wandering, that you know. But the problem is, there is a dry silence. You are not enjoying meditation. There is a silence, no doubt. But there is no enjoyment. What should be the result of meditation? Atma is Ananda Swarupa. So naturally, if you are succeeding in meditation, Ananda should come. Now the problem is Ananda is not there, only one dryness is there. A dry silence. You are not very clear whether you are sleeping or meditating. Right? Now this state is called kashāya. You are there, but there is peace also, but that peace also is not a very joyful peace, it's a very dry peace. You know, the peace also has got so many flavors. So it's a very dry peace. So then we have to understand, we are entering into a state of kashāya. So what is this kashāya? Kashāya is a state where the heart is not involved in meditation. So what has to be done? What has to be done is we will have to intensify all the noble virtues of the heart. What are the noble virtues? Mainly, these 5 aspects we will have to keep in mind. Number 1, humility. Number 2, gratitude. Number 3, compassion. Number 4, forgiveness. And number 5, confession. These are the 5 things we will have to keep in mind. So first one is humility. Be very humble, because very many times the joylessness is because of ego only. Ego can take different forms and appear in front of you in disguise. So you don't know what this is. It is none other than the same monster, ego, coming in different disguise. So if the ego is active, you will find that there is no joy. Because the nature of ego is sorrow. So always be humble. We must have this opinion about ourselves. What is this? Oh Lord, I am nothing. I have nothing, I know nothing, I can do nothing. Consider yourself as a dust in your own eyes. Always. Generally, what happens is because of our name, fame, talents, possession, etc., somewhere we feel ourselves very important. To the extent you feel important about yourself, to that extent Bhagavan will hesitate in occupying our heart. Because ego is ruling the heart. As long as ego is ruling the heart, the Bhagavan will wait at the doorsteps. He will not force his way. It is our job to eliminate the ego, to make way for the Lord. We have to do it. Bhagavan will not do. He will just wait. So first one, humility. Second one, gratitude. Be grateful to everything in this world, everyone in this world. Everything means what? Let it be animate or inanimate, sentient or insentient. Let us be grateful to everything. For example, now see this technology. I am talking in front of a computer. I should be grateful to this computer because of which I am able to communicate, isn't it? See, be grateful to every little things. Be grateful to this dress, be grateful to the light, the electricity, your chappals. It is protecting your feet. Be grateful to that chappal, be grateful to the toothbrush. So this way, be grateful to everything because they are serving you. Remember, they don't want us, we want them. So who should be grateful? We should be grateful to them, isn't it? So thank everyone. Early morning when you get up, thank everything. Thank the floor, thank the bed, thank the pillow for having given a good sleep. Feel that they are there, alive. Because in this world there is only consciousness. That means what? They are all alive. That way we feel and we sincerely bow down to them. From the depth of our heart, we thank them. So in this way, what happens is your heart becomes a charged heart, not a dry heart. Because these emotions help the heart to grow. This heart has to grow. And these are the emotions which we must again and again inject into our heart so that this heart grows. So gratitude, with that gratitude, if a teardrop comes, you are blessed. Again, be grateful to everyone in your home. That servant maid who comes, don't say that I am paying her this much, that's why she is working. Never think that way. The house is clean only because of her. So therefore, from the depth of your heart, thank her for making your life, comfortable. So this way, thank every little person. Your driver, he's waiting there to serve you. Thank him. So everyone in life, whoever comes, thank that person. Never try to find fault with that person. If your mind is constantly entertaining some kind of negativity towards someone, make a list of all those virtues in that person. Make a list of all the things which you are receiving from that person. And this way, convert the negativities into positivity. And finally, the end result is you are thankful to that person. So this is humility. Second is gratitude. And the third one is compassion. When somebody suffers and you don't feel that suffering, if you are insensitive, understand it is a defect of the heart. Somebody is suffering and I am not feeling the pain, I am not feeling any kind of sensitivity, I am indifferent. If that indifference is seen when somebody is suffering, understand it is a very big blot, it's a very big defect as far as a spiritual seeker is concerned. We must be ashamed of ourselves in front of God, saying, Bhagavan, somebody was suffering, but my heart did not melt in compassion. I understand that this is a defect in me. It's a weakness in me. So this is another thing, compassion. When somebody suffers, I must have a heart to go and help. In whatever way I can, I must try to help that person. When you do this, you will find that your heart starts developing. And this is very, very essential in spiritual progress. You cannot say that I don't care, I'm indifferent, I'm udasina. People normally use this term udasina. Are be indifferent to your suffering. It's not that being indifferent to somebody's suffering. No. Be indifferent to your suffering, but be sensitive to others' suffering. This is what we have to learn. So compassion, then forgiveness. When somebody does a mistake, learn to forgive. If you are not able to forgive, understand it's a defect of the heart. We have long way to go. This is the meaning. If you are not able to forgive somebody. Because the whole journey of spirituality is evolution in knowledge. And what is the proof that you are truly a knowledgeable person? The proof is that you are able to forgive a person when that person does mistake. Because to forgive, you need tremendous amount of wisdom, tremendous amount of understanding. You are seeing the reality of things when you are able to forgive someone. And what is the reality? That person is spiritually unevolved. So it is but natural. This is how we all grow. So when that forgiveness comes, understand that heart is a wonderful heart. It's a divine heart. So these are the virtues we must be able to cultivate in ourselves. Humility, gratitude, compassion, forgiveness, and the last one, confession. Whenever we also commit mistake in life. It is not that we are perfect. Very many times we commit mistakes, but never justify our mistakes. This is the normal tendency of the ego. Ego wants to justify its mistakes. But what we have to do, no, if I have committed a mistake, I must, from the depth of my heart, I must confess. So what happens when you cultivate all these virtues? You will find that your heart is so beautiful heart, recharged with all noble emotions. For such a person, kashāya will never happen. This defect of kashāya will never happen. One of the questions in that question was, Swamiji, what to do? Silence is there, but how to push beyond silence? The answer is this. Kashāya is a problem. So developing the heart by serving everyone. Now this is the main purpose of karma yoga. Serve everyone, whoever comes to your life, and try to develop this heart. Then this problem you can overcome. Right. So first one, laya. Second one, vikshepa. Third one, kashāya. The fourth obstacle is called Jñāna. Jñāna means ignorance. How to get rid of ignorance? There is only one way, knowledge. So, Shravanena Jñāna Nivrittihi. Fourth one. That anyway we are all doing it, so I don't have to tell too much about it. Shravana, listening to the scriptures. Shravana. But then you have the information, but it's full of doubts. So then what is the next obstacle? The next obstacle is Samshaya Doubt. So what to do? Mananena Samshaya Nivrittihi. Through mananam, reflection. Constantly you have to reflect upon the scriptural truths. Mananena Samshaya Nivrittihi. But now the knowledge has become conviction. There are no more doubts. You are very clear. But now the problem is viparīta bhāvanā or vāsanā. This is another obstacle. This is the sixth obstacle. I know what is right, but I am not able to live it. I know that I am consciousness, but still I am rooted in body. So what has to be done? Nididhyasanena viparīta vāsanā nivrittihi. Viparīta bhāvanā nivrittihi. This is called nididhyasana. Again and again, again and again. So in nididhyasana, what do you do? In nididhyasana, you try to withdraw your mind from the external happening and try to fix the mind in the self. This is nididhyasana. So at the seat of meditation, what you do? The mind will have so many thoughts. So you are watching the thoughts. So at the seat of meditation, you are very clearly seeing two entities, the observer of the thoughts and the thoughts. Two entities. You see very clearly that you are the one who is observing these thoughts. Now what you are supposed to do? Earlier you were getting carried away by the thoughts. Now in nididhyasana, you don't get carried away. You become a witnessing consciousness. You shift your attention to consciousness. Your interest is not in the world, not in the thoughts. Your interest is in consciousness. So this withdrawal of attention and making that attention firmly get rooted in consciousness, this is called as nididhyasana. So again and again, you are thinking of consciousness, abiding in consciousness. Your attention, you are withdrawing and fixing it in the witnessing consciousness. So you are paying attention to the awareness in you. Now please understand, meditation is not something 1 hour you sit and do. No, throughout the day, this is what you have to do. Throughout the day, even when you are interacting with the world, now and then, make it a habit. Now and then, be aware of the witness. Be aware of this consciousness. Be aware of a second entity in you, other than you, higher than you, diviner than you, watching you. This is nididhyasana. As Mundaka Upanishad says, Dvasuparna sayuja sakhaya samanam riksham parishasvajate tayoranyaf pippalam swadu atti anasnannanyo abhichakashiti. Mundaka Upanishad. It talks about 2 birds in the same tree. A bird which is sitting on the higher branch, the other bird which is sitting on the lower branch. The higher branch bird, it is not eating anything, it is just watching. The other bird, it is eating all the fruits. So who are these 2 birds? One is Paramatma, the witnessing consciousness. The other is Jivatma, which anyway we are aware, we ourselves. So now what is the thing to be done in nididhyasana? Shift your attention to that Supreme Lord who is always there as a witnessing consciousness, ever with you. Shift your attention. In the beginning, maybe it is once or twice in a day, but slowly with practice, you will find that you are able to abide in that witness consciousness. The intensity of abidance, the firmness of abidance grows with practice. Abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyena cha grihhyate. Abhyasa is very essential. Over a period of time, you are able to abide in that witnessing consciousness. In the language of devotion, we call it God remembrance. What is nididhyasana? God remembrance is nididhyasana. In the language of knowledge, we use a different language, we call it abidance in the self. Now, abidance in the self and God remembrance both are one and the same thing. So again and again remembering the Lord, who is the very self in you, who is the very consciousness in you, who is the very witness in you, again and again remembering Him, again and again remembering Him. Even when you are transacting with the world, now and then remember Him. Now and then take the mind away from the world and fix it there. So slowly you start experiencing a presence in you, a divine presence in you, which is full of peace and solace and strength and courage, which is an embodiment of perfection. So now when your attention is turned towards this infinite perfection, you also start experiencing that state of perfection. So understand, your liberation has started. When you start experiencing a state of perfection in you, in spite of all the external superficial tragedies and miseries, in spite of all that, when you start experiencing a deep sense of peace in you, a perfection in you, when you start experiencing something divine in you, understand your liberation has started. With practice, what happens? This experience becomes more long-lasting, more deep, more intense, and a time comes when you are firmly rooted in the state of being. Then what happens? At that state, ego appears to be a shadow and pure consciousness appears to be the reality. Today, what is the condition? Ego is a reality and consciousness, we don't even know what it is. But when you do this practice, nididhyasana, a time comes when this ego, which appears to rule us so much, that ego becomes like a shadow. Why shadow? Shadow means something appears to be there, but actually nothing is there. Ego becomes a shadow. And what remains is only a state of being. And what is the nature of that being? Satchit Ananda is the nature of that being. So what is the proof of spiritual progress? The proof is Ananda should go on increasing. A state of fulfillment, a state of peace, contentment, happiness, a kind of independence. There is no dependence on the world. Without the world also you are happy. Without sense interaction also you are happy. There is a causeless joy which is experienced. Causeless joy. You are joyful. Why? The question is wrong. Don't ask why. You are joyful because joy is your nature. So this kind of what you call peace, joy, contentment, you start experiencing. More and more you experience as you start abiding more and more in the Lord, in the Supreme Self. So this is the ultimate goal to be reached. So shall we take up the questions now?
Swamiji has touched upon all the aspects, and this is the most awaited Q&A session. Most of our questions have been covered by Swamiji in his talk, as well as the short demonstration that we could do. But still, if we have any more clarification, we can seek Swamiji's further guidance with his permission. Now it is over to Mr. Vishwas for conducting the Q&A session. Hari Om.
Hari Om, Swamiji. See, as per the list here, there are 7 questions. Maybe I can check with each one of them if their question has been answered. If they are convinced, then we'll proceed further for further actions.
Yes.
So the first question is by Mr. Prabhakaran. I am trying to do meditation. Mr. Prabhakaran, are you satisfied with the?
Yes, I am very much satisfied.
Very good.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Swamiji.
Hari Om. Then we have Krishna Lok, Sunday evening group.
Hari Om.
Mr. Krishna?
Hari Om. I have a problem, like I understand the difficulty. Half an hour we need to prepare 23 and half an hour. That is where the problem is. We have a family member, so even for 10 minutes, my child was crying. So it is not audible. So is it, my question is, it is difficult for me to understand. So I just do my prayer bhajan for about an hour in the morning and the evening. So sometimes I get focused on that. That is, I can continue, right? That's what I have a question.
That is perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. The prayers you are doing, that is enough.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Right.
So, Swamiji, is prayers equivalent to meditation? That's what you're saying?
Yes, both are same.
Both are same.
Both are same.
All right. So both have to be done with concentration on the Lord.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Swami. Then third question is by Mrs. Chitra. She has some question on the chakras.
Hari Om, Swamiji. I don't know whether it has any relevance. You've given us such an in-depth an idea of what is meditation, because I did a meditation course where I was told the first, like you said, that you focus on your breath. Then the second step was to clear your chakras. It said in your meditation you have to focus on one chakra each, the Muladhara, and slowly like that you will feel it opening up and the energy flowing. Whether that really happens or not was my question, because I couldn't recognize it, but I learned a technique. I understood that you have to observe your thoughts and things like that. So therefore I wanted to know whether it has any relevance, these chakras and nadis, in meditation, or like you said, just gratefulness and gratitude and just focus on Ishta Devata and breath is enough. Hari Om.
Hari Om. So, the point is this, Amma, in Bhagavad Gita there is no mention of Nadi or Chakra.
Mm.
Bhagavad Gita, only one thing, develop devotion to me, fix your attention upon me.
Mm.
All the great Mahatmas, Ramana Maharshi, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, all great Mahatmas, they have said only one thing. So let us follow the path given by Mahatmas.
Mm.
His path may be right, maybe for some other seeker, but if you are interested, you will have to follow such gurus. I am not the right person. That path may be relevant for some people. But since I have not done any kind of Nadi meditation or Chakra meditation, so therefore I am not the right person. I just follow the path shown by the great Mahatmas, which is a well-trodden path, and the path shown by the scriptures, path shown by Bhagavan Adi Shankaracharya, the path shown by the Guru Parampara. It is the easiest path, and I think it is the best path.
Yes. Hari Om, definitely. Today was an eye-opener. It made so many things clear. Hari Om, Swamiji.
Thank you. The fourth is by Mrs. Srivali. She has a question regarding the sattvic food.
Yes. Are you there?
Hari Om, Swamiji.
Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om. Amma,
Yeah,
see, so what about frozen food? That's what your question is.
Yes, Swamiji, especially even the frozen vegetables and all that, right? They're easily available where they say that it is frozen immediately after being harvested. But I mean, in general, sattvic food is supposed to be that which is, you cook it fresh, you have it fresh. So just that doubt about that particular frozen thing.
Amma, see, any unnatural process, any artificial process will have its own defects. Any unnatural process, any artificial process will have its defects. So now, suppose you have 1 hour time, right? And now the choice is, if you cook food, then you will have to skip meditation. The other choice is, if you can eat up the food which is already there in the fridge, just heating takes 5 minutes, then you can eat that food and do meditation. Suppose these two choices given. What is the first choice? Cook your food, but you have to skip meditation. Then you will get fresh food, but no meditation. The second choice is, heat the refrigerated food, it will take 5 minutes. But then you can meditate for 1 hour. If personally you ask me, I will choose the second option. You understand? Because for me, more important is meditation. And one more thing, let us be very clear, food has a very, very minor role to play in meditation. The most important thing is Bhakti, Jñāna, Vairāgya. People get caught up in so many little things. Swamiji, what is the kind of asana I should sit? Whether I should sit on what you call deer skin or blanket or bed sheet. Now, please understand, there are very many things which are not very essential. The most essential thing is Bhakti, Jnana, Vairāgya, because the whole thing is about mind. Swamiji, which is the asana should I sit? Whether should it be Padmasana or Vajrasana or Siddhasana or Sukhasana? Please understand, these are all non-essentials. You may sit on a chair and you can wonderfully meditate if your mind is beautiful. Understood? So as long as food is concerned, don't make a fuss of it. The simple food which you are eating, chapati, rice, dal, sambar, etc., it is sattvic food. So don't worry too much about this food thing, because otherwise instead of meditating on God, you will meditate on food only. I am not joking, these things are happening.
Yes.
Where is your focus? So much of time is wasted in non-essential, and therefore you have no time for the most important thing. So therefore, let us not worry too much about all these things. Let us save more and more time so that we have more and more time for meditation. This is the most important thing. We have not come to this world to eat. We have come to this world to get liberated. Meditate upon God and liberated. So therefore, use your common sense and according to as the time permits. So adjust, make use of the technology also. And then in this regard, I think we must use our common sense. A little bit of, what you call refrigeration is wonderful. Suppose you don't have time. Fridge food is a wonderful thing. Just heat and eat and you have time for meditation. I'm not saying that all the time you should do this, but at times when you have to choose between two, always choose for prayer and meditation.
Swamiji, however, sattvic
Thank you,
food is
Swami.
important, right? In the sense of basically vegetarian sattvic food is important.
Always vegetarian food.
Vegetarian sattvic food.
Sattvic,
Yeah,
less oil, less spicy.
less spicy, less garlic, less onion.
Yes, easily digestible food.
Right. Then the next question is from Mrs. Lakshmi. She has some question on the thoughts. How do we watch the thoughts or something?
Lakshmi Amma is there.
Here, my humble pranam Shrayam Swamiji. Actually, you have covered the ultimate goal. So there are no more doubts as such. You've shown the goal very, very clearly. So it's my part now to work on it. Thank you so much, Swamiji, for all your help. Thank you so much.
Right.
Carry on, Swamiji.
Mrs. Srivalli, do you have another question on the calmer mind?
No, Swamiji has answered it already. He's covered all the points. Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you. Mr. Ramaya Gopalan, regarding the techniques to be observed.
Hari Om. My understanding that in the meditative process, once in a while there will be a ladder of fall.
Yes.
Now, my question to Swamiji is, what technique to be observed to be aware of such pitfalls and how to effect quick correction? Hari Om.
So all these obstacles we have said, they are all pitfalls. Going to sleep, laya is a pitfall, vikshepa is a pitfall, kashāya is a pitfall, ignorance is a pitfall, doubt, samshaya is a pitfall, and habitual erroneous thinking, that is also pitfall. So these are all the pitfalls. If any other pitfall you have, then please tell me.
This is a gross list.
How about the circumstances around us?
How do we take corrective action, Swami?
Corrective action is only one, hold on to the Lord, utter Sharanagati. Because all the pitfalls are from the ego only. Ego is our greatest enemy and all the pitfalls are arranged by ego. Ego himself comes in different disguise. So therefore the one thing to be done is puncture the ego and take refuge at the Lord's feet. Say, Bhagavan, I don't know what is happening to my mind. Please guide me. Please take care of me. Trahimam, pahimam. This is the only way. This will take care of everything else. You need not even know why the mind is troubled. The beauty of surrender unto God is, once you surrender, whatever be the problems of mind, you will be able to overcome it. Devi Hesha Gunamai Mama Maya Duratteya. Bhagavan himself says, nobody can win over my Maya. But Mameva ye prapadyante Maya metam tarante. Those who take shelter unto me. So one message of Bhagavad Gita in every chapter is, surrender unto me, surrender unto me, surrender unto me. This is all we need to do. Loudly cry and pray, Bhagavan, punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani jathare shayanam, iha samsare bahu sustare, kripaya pare, pahi, surrender. But if this you can do, then you will be able to overcome all the problems of the mind, whether it is laya, vikshepa, kashāya, whatever it is. It's ultimate Rama Bāna, Brahmastra it is.
Hari Om, Swami.
I think there are a couple of more questions which have come just now. One is by Mrs. Sujata Puranik. Mrs. Sujata, do you want to ask or should I read the question? Can you proceed with your question?
Hari Om Swamiji, I can ask if you allow me. So, when one is meditating, sometimes a stray thought will occur to you, it will come into your mind. And what one tries to do is to try and let it go as soon as possible and return to meditation. But you have offered so many nice practical tips today. Is there any other way to deal with that?
If you use these tips, no other way will be necessary.
No, I'm saying if a stray thought comes into the mind, what is the best way to deal with that when you're meditating?
The best way is to ignore it.
Yes.
And if that doesn't go, then say, Bhagavan, I am not able to ignore, help me to get rid of it. Take the help of the Lord. Then it will surely go.
Right.
The moment you take the help of the Lord, no obstacle can stand the power of the Lord.
Thank you. Hari Om.
One more, Mrs. Aruna.
Hari Om Swamiji, on similar, almost like Sujata Madam's, only mine is also. What I have recently started noticing is that when I start chanting the Lord's name and I'm like doing my bit of meditation, right? I just go off into that, all the stories related to the Lord, right? I mean, we have heard it in all the pravachans and the lot of the satsangs that we get involved in, right? So there are so many stories that we have heard about him. So it just goes off in a tangent and I've completely forgotten the chanting. I'm just thinking of the stories and, I'm visualizing the stories and creating that whole, again, another Maya that gets created, right? So, again, is it something like that stray thought only that I have to cut off and then make sure that I come back to the chanting? Or is it okay to dwell on the Lord's various leelas, right? Is that all right? Because that, I don't know whether that's going to help in the cleansing process, right? That was my doubt.
Amma, as long as it is giving you spiritual joy, as long as your wandering thought gives you spiritual joy, you don't have to stop it. But once the mind steps out of the boundaries of spirituality and gets into worldliness, then stop it. I hope you have understood.
I understood. Yeah, it's okay to dwell in the leelas as long as it's pure leelas.
Leelas are meant for dwelling only.
Yeah. Yeah. I understood.
Thank you.
Hari Om.
Yeah. If there are no more questions, I have one question, Swamiji.
Yes.
How does Yoga Nidra, the practice of Yoga Nidra, help in meditation?
What is your definition of Yoga Nidra?
Yoga Nidra basically, lie down on a carpet and then think about, or take your mind to each and every part of the body and dedicate it to the Lord. So, I mean, not only that, that physical part, that gets relaxed, but it also gets devoted to that Lord. So, does it help us in any way for meditation?
Normally, you do Yoga Nidra after doing Yoga Abhyas, isn't it?
Yeah.
Generally, I will tell you, during Yoga Nidra, everybody goes to sleep only. It's a nap. 20 minutes nap it is. Yes or no?
Yeah, it happens sometimes.
1 hour when you are doing Yogasana, you get tired. So Yoga Nidra is just to give some relaxation, that to get rid of the tiredness. If you want to dedicate every sense organ to Lord, then you should be an alert person, not a sleeping person. Nothing wrong in imagining, but generally you will find you will get a small nap of 10-15 minutes or maybe 20 minutes. After that, you become fresh. So let us meditate upon Lord, not when we are tamasic or tired, but when we are sattvic, alert. Whatever you have told, there is nothing wrong. But the thing is, while doing it, you fall asleep. So, yes.
So I think there are no more questions. I think probably we can proceed with our schedule.
Thank you, Mr. Vishwas, for the smooth conduct of the Q&A session.
Thank
Now
you.
we'll move on to the concluding portion of the program. May I request Mrs. Srivali for proposing a vote of thanks?
Hari Om. Thank you very much, Swamiji, for taking out time to give us tips on obstacles in meditation, influence of other factors, and also how to progress in meditation. It was a wonderful session that cleared many doubts for all of us. Guidance on the path is invaluable for all of us as seekers, and we're most grateful and blessed to have your guidance. Our thanks also to all members of the Jñāna study group, including the organizers who made sure everything went smoothly, and the members who enriched the session through their participation. Thank you, Swamiji. Hari.
Hari Om. May I now request Mrs. Geeta Subramanian to offer concluding prayers.
Hari Om, Swamiji.
Hari Om.
Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschat Dukkha Bhave. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om. May I now request Mr. Krishna Lok to read out the Chinmaya Mission Pledge.
We stand as one family, known to itself with Bhagavan, without an army, courageous and resistance, ever ready to solve those conflicts and solve problems within and without us. We live honestly and noble life of sacrifice and service, producing more than what we can and what we take. We seek to not praise and the path of courage and wisdom. When we praise and blessing those who are to the world of God, believe the service of our country, the service of the Lord of Lords, and devotion to the Supreme Service. Know our responsibilities, give us the ability, boldness, and courage to preach them.
Hari Om. On behalf of Indiranagar Study Group, profusely thank Swami Aparajitananda for sharing such a detailed exposition of what is meditation, going through the fundamentals, cautioning us on the pitfalls and how to overcome. And it's a question of our practicing it. And thank you very much, Swamiji, for enlightening us on this most important topic, the very goal of life for us. Hari Om.
Hari Om.